The Corkin Entertainment Show is brought to you by Podmatch, the ultimate platform designed to connect podcast hosts with prospective guests effortlessly. Are you a podcaster looking to elevate your show to new heights? Or perhaps you're a guest hoping to share your story with a broader audience. Whatever your podcasting goals are, we have the perfect solution for you. Podmatch simplifies the entire process of discovering guests for your show or finding podcasts to feature your expertise. Now imagine a platform where you can easily match with like-minded creators tailored specifically to your niche. With Podmatch, you can effortlessly network with influencers and thought leaders, all while staying true to your podcast vision. There are a multitude of ways that Podmatch can help you grow your brand. You can be part of a thriving community of podcasters and potential guests. Engage, collaborate, and grow together. If you're ready to experience these fantastic benefits for yourself, we invite you to join Podmatch today. Head over to www.joinpodmatch.com/Corkin Entertainment and sign up right now for only $6 a month. That's right, you heard me right, $6 a month. Join the Podmatch family today and watch your podcast soar to new altitudes. Thank you for tuning into the Corkin Entertainment Show, and happy podcasting. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Corkin Entertainment Show. I am your host, Franky Corcoran. What's going on today? Everybody having a good June. We're almost into July. The weather is great. Lots of exciting stuff coming this summer. And it's going to be a good one, I think. It's going to be a good one this year. We're just going into July. First off, anybody listening who just graduated, congratulations. Best of luck in all your future endeavors. And have a safe, happy, make good decisions this summer. And good luck with whatever you're doing in the fall. It's awesome. So not much really to plug this week, aside from, Canada Day's coming up, just everyone be safe. We do have an episode coming out on Thursday, this week again. So if something comes up between now and then, I'll certainly let you guys know, but all of you guys are on Facebook. You guys all know what's going on. But for anybody here listening from Pennsylvania or surrounding areas, for Jeff Revilla, of course, our guest today, then some of this might not mean much to you. Local events going on here in Miramichi, New Brunswick, in Canada. So speaking of our guest, let's just jump right into it. He is the owner of Poduty Live, which is essentially a podcasting venue. It's something that I think is very needed. Something that people don't really think about sometimes, but I'm glad that there's been some initiative taken to keep podcasting alive, whether it's in the way of a venue or whatever it is. It's very happy. It's really it feels great to see. So Jeff was a great guest. We had a great conversation. Thank you again, Jeff, for coming on. Just a lot of fun. Talk about a lot of things. The difference between podcasting and radio, getting feedback from the audiences, starting Poduty. And you guys can find that on Instagram as well, too. So thank you again, Jeff, for coming on. And great stuff. I'm very happy to see what you're doing. Later in the show, I want to give my thoughts on Orlando Bloom gives a update on a potential return to Pirates of the Caribbean 6. And then also we have some casting news for Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is very exciting. So anyways, guys, without further ado, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast today. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Corkin Entertainment Show. I am your host, Franky Corcoran, and today I am joined by a podcaster, entrepreneur who is behind Poduty Live LLC. And this is something that I think it's something that's needed, I think, really in every single community, because podcasting is so important now. Podcasting is becoming so... some people say it's even more popular or more common than the news. That's divisive. You can decide that for yourself. But I'm very excited to have him on here today. Jeff Revilla. Jeff, how are you today?
Thanks for having me. I saw Jeff Revilla, the San Francisco treat. It was like a rice-a-roni ad at the beginning there.
That's a yeah. I was kind of like leading up in like this big sales pitch on. Do you like podcasting? Well, you're gonna like Pod Duty, uh,
You like
which
processed rice in under 10 minutes? You're gonna love live podcasting.
exactly. Yeah, fuck it. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I thought of. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do a podcast from home tonight on Zoom. Zoom's gonna. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Fuck it. We're doing it live. We're doing it live.
Gotta go.
It's so perfect. So that's as soon as I heard about what you do, I said, this is so amazing. The fact that there is such thing out there as a venue, because I mean, we're so used to having venues for performing arts, theater, music, which is perfect. That's what we want, but also for podcasting, because that's something, as I said, podcasting has become so relevant now. It's becomes, as I said, and this is divisive. Some people can agree or disagree that it's kind of becoming more popular than the news or more reliable than the news. Do you agree with that statement that podcasting is more relevant than the news itself, or what's your take on that?
I think as a form of entertainment, I would say it's more relevant. Sometimes I veer away from news that tries to be entertainment. I don't want my news to be entertaining. I want my news black and white and facts related, but I want my podcast to be entertaining. I want it to be relevant to me in the moment, relevant to topics that I care about. So, in that regard, if I find the right host and the right topic, hands down, I'm going podcast over cable news all day, every day.
I mean, sometimes, but like even nowadays, we're seeing more. Like, I'm trying to think if I listen to podcasts more or if I listen to my actual radio more. Like, I actually thought about that not too long ago, and I'm like, I don't even know which one of the two I do the most. Like, it's kind of, at least with podcasts, you can change. Oh, well, obviously, radio, you're able to change too, but podcasts, it's it feels more like there's more of a variety of stuff to choose from. So are you more of a radio or podcast type? If you're driving like long road trip, you can either listen to the radio or listen to a podcast. Which do you prefer?
I can tell you the last time I turned the radio on, 2007. I got it. It's even engraved. It has 2007 on the
Oh my
back.
geez. Is that the old ass iPad or
This is the
iPod?
color iPod, the first color
Oh,
generation. 2007 Father's Day, I got a color iPod, and that was the last. I never went back to the radio. Now, there is an exception to that rule, with a family with kids. In Pittsburgh, one of the radio stations from like middle of November till the end of the year transitions to all Christmas songs all day long. So during that little period, if we're in the car as a family, I will put the radio on, but 110% of the time when I'm alone, podcasts are on 200% of the time. I don't listen to anything else but podcasts. I will stream music and I will listen to podcasts, but I don't even have the dials in my car set up with local radio stations. That's how little I listen to the radio.
well, we live in such a cool age now where remember back when burning CDs was a thing? I actually found a whole bunch. I think it was last summer. I was cleaning out my glove box in my car, and I found all the old CDs that I burned and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, like we're in a day and age now where I don't even need that. I'm like, do I keep that just as a. So I think I ended up keeping it just to have. I don't know, I can show my grandkids or something. Back in the day, we used to do this where my grandchildren to be like robots, God only knows. Like it'll be, with how the world's evolving. But you brought me right back to 2009 with that iPod Touch. Does it still work good?
I haven't charged it in years, so I couldn't even tell you. But this isn't like what we have now, where you subscribe in an app, and when a new episode shows up, it's just in your phone. You used to have to go online to iTunes, and iTunes had a desktop app, and you would say, I want this, I want this, I want this," and the desktop app would refresh. You'd have to go home, charge your iPod, plug it into your computer, and then then tell it to sync. You'd have to sync your iPod with your computer to get the new episodes downloaded, and then you could finally go and listen to a new episode. But I mean, if you wanted to listen to podcasts in 2005 and 6, it was a lot more work than it is today. Now you wake up in the morning, you have 4 notifications of shows that you want to hear. They're already there, ready to go. Back then, it took you a half an hour to get them set up.
Oh, absolutely. But it's so funny to see the kids nowadays, like our generation, or not our generation, the next generation of kids now who are they're so good with tech, using the iPad, and like just almost like I saw this meme. It was Tony Stark who was doing all the swiping on the screens, and it says my 4-year-old, as soon as he gets his hands on an iPad, it was just doing Tony Stark and doing all the typing. Like that's what kids are like. How old are your kids?
They're older now. We're at 15 and almost 19. So
Oh, okay, right on. So there, I'm not sure if some of the stuff we're talking here would have been before their time or not. How were they with the technology and stuff like that? They caught on pretty quickly, I would imagine, eh?
yeah, it's all second nature to them. It's there. I don't think there is a learning curve. It's kind of almost instinctual at this point, where they see mom and dad addicted to their phones, so they just mimic being addicted to their phones, and the cycle continues.
Yeah, the phone addictions, man. Like it's the parents scold their kids for being on their phone, but then the parents also have an addiction too. It's kind of funny how that works. It's maybe not well, yeah, it is hypocritical. I was gonna say I was trying to be diplomatic and say it's not hypocritical, but it kind of is. But it's I think to a degree everyone does that at some point, like getting angry at someone for saying or doing something, and then you actually don't realize that, oh shit, I've done that before too. Like, is there something that you've done like with your kids or something like that where you're like, guys, don't do this or stay off the iPad, and then they kind of turn it right back on you, like, well, you're on your iPad or you're on your phone or or you did this the other day. Like, did they ever try to turn that back, or do they know better than to say that to their parent?
No, they're very opinionated. They're very strong, independent girls. I'm very proud of them, and I love that they have a voice. What I do get from them sometimes is a lot of times I don't even have my phone with me. It's in another room. I have it on silent. I drop it, and I don't want it around me. I don't like having it. But when I get home from work, sometimes I'll sit on the chair and I'll start playing some poker, some online poker. It's like a way for me to detox from a day of work. I just clear my brain. Poker is kind of like a second language, so I'm never going to learn French or Spanish, but I can at least communicate through these signals that I'm during a game that I'm playing, and it helps me like clear and relax. And as soon as I tell them they're on their phone too much, I get well, you just come home from work and you play poker all night. And I play like one game. It takes like 12 minutes and I'm done. And, and so they do turn it back on you. No matter what you say, they're going to turn it back on you. Because, I mean, one of the things that I've realized, I'm almost 50 now. So the things that I've realized is you can only perceive what you know. And a lot of times you reference parents are yelling at their kids, you're on your phone too much as they're scrolling through their phone. You get off your phone. Why are you on your phone so much? And it really is a reflection of themselves. You can only tell your kids something that you know that of something that exists. So if you're addicted to your phone and you see that behavior in your kids, you're gonna see that right away and call it to them. And as soon as somebody tells on you for something, or as soon as my daughters tell me that I'm on my phone too much, that's a flag that they're on their phones too much, because that's what they're perceiving. That's their reality. So that's always a red flag that I look for. It probably comes from playing too much poker and looking for signals and tells. But as soon as somebody tells you something that's a problem, look, you have to see that they're also doing that problem. It's almost 90% of the time they're as guilty as what they're telling on. So.
But when your daughters do it, are you almost proud sometimes? Like, okay, they're actually sticking up for themselves, or they're calling things out. Does that make you proud, or does it kind of piss you off?
No, well, it depends on the respect level. I love being called out, and I love when they see something like injustice or they see something that's wrong, and I'll push that button with them too. That's one of the things that I will be like the irrelevant dad that sometimes says things to push them to fight back and say, "Hey, that's not right, Dad. You can't say things like that," which is good. I love hearing that they know that what I said was wrong, and I do that intentionally. And they know at this point, like, that it's they know that it's a joke. but they know to react to it and not stand for it. So if they hear it, they're learning about it and they know that it's completely wrong.
No, as long as they're not like outright just going bah 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 screw you dad bah 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 bah. Like that's where it becomes like, okay, you guys gotta we gotta have a talk here or something's gotta give, you know. It's great to see that and you said what, 19 and 12 you said they are?
19 and 15, yeah.
And 15. Oh geez, 12. I don't know where I'm getting the 12 from. The time's flying by too. So I mean, like in your mind, you're probably thinking, oh shit, they're 19 and 15. Like where did all that go? Does that make you kind of sad or what?
I mean, everybody warns you about it, especially when they're young. Well, they're 4 years apart. So when they were like 2 and 6, people would come up to us in the grocery store and be like, oh, it goes by so fast, cherish these moments. And you're like, I'm just trying to keep these kids alive. It's stressful enough. I got to work a full-time job. I got to come home. I got to feed these kids. I got to get them to soccer practice. Like, I just want to keep them alive. And everyone's like, cherish these moments. And you really can't, because you're so immersed in raising these kids and making sure they're taken care of. And like all their needs have to be met so that they have a safe home. They have a environment they can grow in and do well in school. And you don't get to, even though you're immersed in it, you're not really stepping back and enjoying it. You're kind of just day to day. Got to get the diaper bag packed. Got to get the formula packed. Got to get over to grandma's house for 10 a.m. because I got an appointment at 11. You're just trying to get through the day. And in hindsight, like obviously we had some great memories, but it does go by so fast. And I hate telling new parents that. Like, I don't want to be that guy. Like, hey, cherish these moments. They know, it goes by fast. They grow up really quickly. So, do the best you can in the moment. And then, the reward usually comes with grandkids. That's when you get to like actually be the cool dad, or the cool grandparent and enjoy it and then give them back.
Yeah, exactly. Spoil them, give them all the treats and stuff like that. That's me with my nieces. I just spoil them, and then just give them back to their mother. And I'm like, okay, see you guys. I'll see you next time, which it's kind of funny how that works. So you guys can't see this because it's audio, but I'm wondering, is that your actual studio behind you, or is that a green screen? I can't tell.
Actually a green screen.
Okay, because I'm not gonna lie. For a second, I was like, I was looking. I'm like, is that legit? I said that actually looks
enough. There you go. You can see my hand turning green.
Okay, it is green. Okay, yeah,
that's great for an audio show. I'm waving my hand right now, and my hand's turning green from the green screen.
You guys have to, maybe we will have to release the video for it now. But no, like I was just looking. I was like, that green screen looks very legit. I actually, for a second, said that's a nice studio or audience. I said, holy crap. I said, is that actually, that's really, really cool.
It does actually look like that for those of you who can see it.
So that's the actual Poduty, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a small stage, and I built this to kind of replicate in real life how you listen to a podcast. Because when you listen to an interview, you feel like you're in the room with the host and the guest, like you're sitting in the corner and you're taking in this conversation. Maybe you're visualizing what the studio looks like, or you're visualizing the conversation between these two people, and you're immersed in it. You can't help but feel like you're in that room. And so the theater is small. It seats 40 people, and I did that intentionally. And I wrapped the chairs around the stage in a C shape. So you are wrapping around the stage, and there's no more than 3 rows away from the stage. So as you're looking at this here, when the lights go out in the room and the stage comes on, you're going to get that same feeling you get when you listen to a podcast in your car or in your earbuds. You're automatically pulled into that stage, right? You can't look anywhere else, but you're in that room and you're there with the people, with the host and the guest, and you're listening to it. You're seeing how they, form their thoughts, and, how they direct the show and how they move it forward. And you are as part of that show as those two people on stage are. You are right there in the thick of it with them.
As I said, it's something that I never thought about really, because we're so used to just podcasts being done, in someone's studio, or as we're doing here on Zoom. It actually makes me really happy to know that there are places like Poduty I just think that's absolutely fantastic. Can you tell me a little bit about when you first started it? Did you ever have a moment where you're like, would something like this really fly where I am? Like, is this something that's going to be successful? Like, what was that whole process like in starting it?
This is really a 7-year idea. Like it took a while to get to what you see now. I tried to mimic a platform that came around in 2015 called Blab. And some people remember Blab, some people don't. It's not really relevant, but it was one of the first four in the box live stream services where, you could have four people on the screen and it had this great social element where you could go live and within 3 minutes, Blab would flood your room with like 30 to 50 people. And what happened is Blab had no monetization plan. They had no way to make money, and it just kind of collapsed under its own weight. It grew so big so fast they couldn't handle growth in servers. It became so unstable. They just shut it down. But those of us who were there, that social element of being connected through so many people so quickly left this void in all of our hearts. Like we really missed Blab. We missed logging in and seeing our friends and being there in the moment. And I wanted to recreate that in the worst way. We tried like Google Hangouts and Appear In and Hop In and all these other like streaming services that never really delivered what Blab did. And I was like, you know what? If I can't find that online anymore, what if I took this out to the world? And I have a picture of it from like 2017, 2018, where it's like, what if I redefined where a podcast could be hosted? Not just like my mom's basement, or a home studio. It could be anywhere. You could just go to like a raging kegger at a college campus, set up a thing. And I was doing a trivia show. So I set up a trivia show in a basement during this college party. And I thought, okay, what do I need? I could fit that in my car. I got a podium. I got some speakers. I got a mixer. I can take this and I could literally go anywhere and have a podcast theater, like have a podcast set up. And that kind of evolved. A friend of mine opened a coffee shop. He's like, hey, bring it to the coffee shop. I'll bring up a taco truck. We'll have free tacos and we'll do trivia for a night. We'll bring in a big grand opening. So we did that. And then we planned a giant one for March 30th, 2020. We had a whole like auditorium ready to go. It was a big night, and it was March 30th, 2020, precisely 2 weeks after they shut the world down for COVID. And that was like, we were so close to like really making this thing like a real thing, like having a theater production, having a trivia game show, and having a night out. And I just kind of like kept going back to that. Like, there's got to be something to being able to take your podcast somewhere, perform it for an audience, and then if you capture the audio, great, you can release that as a podcast. But what if you could also be live streaming that? You could be anywhere. And this concept of if I can just go set up somewhere and not be confined by the walls where I'm at, then this little 40-seat theater has the same capacity as Madison Square Garden. So because I'm not limited by seating capacity, by the size of the building, because I can put 40 people in seats in front of me, I can live stream that show to thousands and thousands of people. So now this concept has grown from, I can just perform somewhere to I can scale at a level that people probably haven't seen before, because now I have a space. I'm encouraging the broadcasting of it. And I can sell as many tickets as people have interest in it now. And that's kind of where we got to. And last June 14th, 2024 was opening night. So we just passed 1 year of being in business. So all that journey took me to what those of you can see this behind me. If not, you can go to the website you mentioned and just get a feel for like what is possible when you have like literally like a television studio now, where just there's no difference between what I have built and Saturday Night Live. Like Saturday Night Live has an in-studio audience. They're doing skits and performances on a stage, and they're broadcasting to millions, right? That's what this is. And I literally built SNL Studios, 30 Rock or whatever they call it. And anybody, I'm hoping that even though I know I'm a little bit ahead of the game and I've probably come to market a little bit early on this, you said like things like this should be popping up in other places. So I'm in Pittsburgh. If somebody copies this model and puts it in Cleveland and Baltimore and Cincinnati, all of a sudden now we have this little network of small podcast theaters where some road warrior like me, working, 5 days a week, comes home on Friday night, like, hey, I'm gonna do a little 3-day tour. I'm gonna go to Cleveland, Baltimore, and back to Pittsburgh for Sunday. And now there's a business here. Now you can take your podcast on the road at any size, any level, and have a great little tour. You can start doing these things that really push the limits of what you were thinking podcasts were 10 years ago when you were recording in a home studio in front of a microphone. Now it's a thing you can do as entertainment. You can take it into the public. You can perform for people and get this amazing real-time feedback and exchange of, hey, I'm performing and you're going to tell me what went right and what went wrong in real time. I'll get that feedback that I don't get from an MP3 file.
This episode of the Corcoran Entertainment Show is brought to you by Black Box Prompter. Are you a musician tired of being tethered to your tablet or music stand? Do you long to connect with your audience on a deeper level, but find yourself constantly glancing down at your lyrics and chords? Then I highly recommend Black Box Prompter, the smart and stealthy lyrics and chords teleprompter designed to liberate musicians from the stage clutter. This innovative device is perfect for bands, hobbyists jamming out in the garage, touring pros rocking arenas, and even houses of worship looking to elevate their services. It discreetly displays your lyrics and chords, allowing you to maintain eye contact with your audience, adding an extra layer of authenticity and connection to your performance. Don't let distractions hold you back. Unleash your full potential and create a more powerful connection with your audience with Black Box Prompter. Click the link in our episode description and use the promo code Corcoran at checkout for 10% off your purchase. Black Box Prompter, the smart teleprompter built for musicians by musicians. That's really good. Like that's something. Wow. I'm just kind of like putting it all together, like just how this all came about. And you said this was a 7-year plan to get this started. At any point during that, did you ever think, like halfway through trying to get something started, did you ever like think about running for the door and just saying, I made a mistake, this is a lot more work than I ever anticipated? Or did you just make sure, like, no, I want to make sure I see it through to the end?
I have a vision, but I will tell you, I would go from the highest of highs, like, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen, to the lowest of lows where I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I am a moron. Like, this is never going to work. And sometimes that would be in the same hour. So, any business is stressful and hectic, and going through the process of, and one of the things I did too, I'm very bootstrappy too. You can tell by my 10-year-old hat that has the bills all frayed.
Looks great, man. Looks great.
I pieced this together over months in my basement. So like these orange chairs that you see here, there was a Catholic school that was closing and they were renovating. They were just getting rid of everything. And I went in and I said, hey, I need 100 chairs. I'll give you $2 a chair. And they immediately said yes. And I was like, oh man, I offered too much. So, but I did buy these chairs for $2 a piece, which is a steal. Like those are, if you look up like school chairs, they're like $30, $40 a piece. So, I got, for the cost of, 5 or 6 chairs at retail, I got a whole theater full of chairs. The stage came from a karate school. I got it in pieces for like $800. So that was, all this stuff was sitting in my basement. We have like an Amazon auction warehouse near us. So like these $400 blue suede chairs I got for like $70, and the $100 bar table you see I got for $20. So I'd started to be very strategic on how I acquired things for the theater. All the lighting, guess how much I paid for all this lighting?
I'm kind of scared, yet kind of curious.
Yeah, $30.
For all that?
All that lighting. Yeah, there's 10. They're kind of.
Yeah. Are you serious?
10, yeah. Yeah.
Well, where'd you get them from? Was that just secondhand?
Yeah, they were $300, but they, through those Amazon returns, they do auctions. And I just bid. I won 10 lights for $30.
Oh, geez. That's okay. I was gonna say. I said, "There's no friggin' way." Like you get those lights. Wow, okay, that makes more sense, but still, that's fantastic.
Yeah, $3 light. So and there's a bunch of pipe and drape which you can't really see in the dark here, but those things. I the retail value, because I get the company that you buy all this stuff from, just like Spotify does a year in review. Like, hey, you listened to 12,000 hours of music and 30 shows, and this was your favorite show. This company gave me a year in review at the end of the year, where it said like the retail value of everything you purchased was over $5,000, but through the bidding and the auction system, I paid like $700. So like I like 5x my money by being patient and buying through auctions. And I was able to furnish this theater for like $1,000 to get everything set up. The only exception is the trust. I had to pay full retail for that one.
Oh, I mean, still though, like, wow, that's really good. That's actually really good. And was it kind of difficult when starting it? Uh, because obviously, when you're doing it for fun and stuff like that, like obviously, yes, you do worry about money and all that stuff, but you love it, so no matter what, it's gonna work. But when you're doing it as a business, what are some of the challenges of pursuing something like this as a business? Like, what would you describe? Because yes, it is something you love, and people always say you'll never work a day in your life if it's something you love. But it's also a challenge too, like especially like running a building and stuff like that, business, money. What would you say is probably the trickiest part about combining these two ideas together, a business and podcasting?
Yeah, in between COVID and 2024 when we opened, I did a lot of virtual events, probably a dozen, a dozen and a half virtual events where I would make an announcement, and through the networks and connections I made around the globe, I was like, hey, I need 24 podcasters for a 2-day event. 3 days filled it up. And so that kind of warped my reality. Whereas when I got to a physical location, and I've been thinking about this for years, and I've been telling people I knew online about it for years, I opened the door and I realized, oh, you know what? I don't really know anybody locally. All my connections are virtual. I've met people from all over the place. I haven't made these connections locally. So a lot of podcasters, I bet, are in the same boat where yes, they're doing a show and they're seeing some nice download numbers and they're enjoying the process, but everything they're doing is probably not in their local market. So a misstep I made early on was thinking I was going to open these doors, and just like my virtual friends would help me out online, there'd be a whole slew of people in Pittsburgh who wanted to come in and help me and run live shows. And it wasn't at all. And the thing that I realized was I better start building connections. And I started doing it. It was called the Pittsburgh Podcast Meetups. And I'd buy pizza and sodas, and we'd have a networking night, and I'd bring in like 20 to 30 people. And that was really the catalyst that like helped me start making local connections. Because I went all in on this, and I was like, oh, I should have probably should have networked locally a little bit more.
Well, you never know, right? There's lots of things that can surprise you when in business, when you're meeting new people. Like, this person here could end up being my boss someday. Like, who knows? I'm talking to you now. I might be working for you someday. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be flying down now, job and everything. But yeah, it is really, I'm still just blown away by what you've been able to achieve with this. When doing podcasts live, is there like any podcast like genre in particular that works better with a live audience, or is it kind of open for like any podcast?
Oh yeah, anybody. The whole system is built to be customizable and flexible. There's even HDMI that I run to the stage. You could plug in your laptop if you want to do slides. Like, we can broadcast all that stuff. So, if you want to do like a sales presentation, we can do that. If you want to do like a real estate podcast and walk through properties, we can do that. If you want to have a dialogue, with a guest, we can do that. Your guest can be physical or virtual. You could be on the stage, but your guest could be in like Portland, Maine or Portland, Oregon. So It's designed for anybody. The best people are the ones who really outline it. The best always seem to have an outline, not like a script. I don't want to sit there and see somebody like, welcome to my show today. Today, I'm going to tell you about the things that I have on this paper, and it's going to be very exciting and you will enjoy it. But if they have like bullet points and they have like a structure that, hey, this is segment one, segment two, segment three, we're going to play a video, segment four, we're going to have some Q&A. And they're able to just go with the flow. And then maybe they're a little bit of a ham on stage. I like the, if those people who really like to engage the audience and have a good time, those people have the best shows. Like the show we have coming up this weekend, we're bringing them back, the Crips and Corks. They do like a storytelling podcast, and they're going to Gettysburg this week, and they're going to tell stories about Gettysburg and what they learned and uncovered while they were there. And they pair all these stories with a wine, and they're wild. They are so much fun to watch. They really get into the character. They just have a great time on stage, and it's exactly why I built this stage for that type of performance. And so check them out. The Crips and Corks podcast are really great.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to go check that out. That's really cool. Is there, I mean, like, as you say, it's open for any type of genre for podcasts. Do you have one in particular that you would like to see the most? Like, if it's a, storytelling podcast, like what one's probably your favorite to see live?
Storytelling, the dialogues, the ones that have like a certain niche. They're talking about whatever, education or paranormal. They have a guest, and then they have a Q&A. The Q&As they're a lot of fun. I'm usually not a Q&A type of person, but to be able to bring somebody into your show that was just watching your show, now we're recording the audio from the audience. It's part of the podcast. It's part of the experience. Those ones seem to do really well, and the audience really leaves with a smile on their face.
And that's great. Like whatever the audience loves to, how important is it to take audience feedback too? Because obviously, you might have some people who will say some things like something like maybe fairly reasonable, like, I don't know, maybe you need a new chair for this spot here because this is kind of uncomfortable, or but like people who might be given like ridiculous demanding stuff that is not gonna be able to happen, like, oh my god, this place needs to be bigger, like, oh, can we expand this, move this, blah blah blah. Like, how crucial can audience feedback be? And like, when do you know, like, when to say no? When do you know to say we can't do that, or yes, sure, we can do that? How do you manage that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty reasonable with my expectations. I grew up skateboarding and punk rock, so being frugal, being creative with limited resources, like I can figure a lot of things out. I can think a little bit differently about the technology that we have, about the setup that we have, and how to accommodate it. Unreasonable things like if someone has a writer and they want all blue M&Ms in a bowl, and and they want only like diet water in the green room, like that's we're not there yet. So like, hey, relax, we'll give you some Deer Park
Diet water.
yeah. We'll handle it, and I will always err on the side of making the best experience for the podcast. But there are limitations to what we can do in a 1,600 square foot theater.
Oh my god, absolutely. Like, people say, oh my god, like, you should expand and do it, and part of you probably just wants to say, okay, can you write me a check? Like,
Yeah,
like, you seem very passionate about this. You pay me to do it,
like I promise you, whenever I grow out of a 40-seat theater, I will move. That's going to happen. But I got to start doing, 5 or 6 sold out shows a week, week after week after week. And then we'll start to move to a 200, 300 seat theater. And when it's time to grow, we'll grow. From now, enjoy this for what it is. This is the birth of a new type of entertainment. You're on the ground floor of like a comedy club version of a podcast theater. Like, this is very special what we have now. It's going to grow and get bigger, no doubt. Like, I have no worry that this type of entertainment is going to catch on. Like, it's going. The momentum is building. But for now, it's very special. It's very intimate. It's I remember back when it was only 40 seats, and I could always hit the host with a snowball. When I I could always hit them. I could always do that. Now I'm like 10 rows back. It's so much harder to throw bananas at the host thing.
Which is good,
Yeah.
safety, everything that's important.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said about making people respect, really appreciate it. I really appreciate what you're doing, because it's something that's we need more of. I think podcasting has become very important, as we were saying. And I just think this is fantastic, man. So I really just want to applaud you for even just seeing the pictures and everything. I'm like, that is beautiful, and that's something that the world is better for having. If you have any, say, advice or anything that you could give to somebody who, whether they want to do some sort of form of live podcasting, if they want to start up their own venue, kind of like you have, what would be the best piece of advice, something that you've learned along the way, that you could give to someone listening?
Yeah, my favorite quote is from Bon Jovi from I think it was like a Howard Stern interview in like 1997 where he talked about his most popular songs, and when he had a hit, he said the reason was he had a quote that he used, and it was "Don't bore us, get to the chorus." And it was, hit them up front with what this is going to be. This is a new type of entertainment. This is a new experience for 90% of the people that come through those doors. Never even thought about a live podcast 2 weeks ago. Like, what do you mean live podcast? I listen to that on my earbuds when I'm, swiffering the floor. But when you give them exactly what the show's going to be about, and you lay it out, and you tease it up, and you build that suspense of, this is it. This is what the show's going to be, and then you deliver on that. That's the best thing you can do for that audience is not even just deliver, but even you end up over delivering on those expectations, because now they're seeing, how the sausage is made. They're not just listening to it in their earbuds. They're seeing you on stage and seeing you react in the moment.
That's the best part about it here. Because even with podcasting, doing it, recording it, like kind of like what we're doing now, we're not going to be able to hear the audience reaction. There's something about being in an audience, hearing people laugh, hearing them cry, whatever it is they're crying about. It's great. It really, really is great. And as I said, I applaud you for what you've done. Jeff, where could people find you on social media, or in terms of Poduty, like website and stuff like that? Where could people find all that?
Yeah, Poduty.com, Poduty. It's Poduty.
Was I saying it right or wrong the whole time, and you didn't correct me?
No, the way you say it, people understand it and they can spell it. The way I say it, nobody knows.
Okay, so as soon as you said Poduty, I said, dude, I've been saying Poduty this whole time, and he never said anything. Okay,
it is Poduty. It's a 6-letter domain name, which is a steal in this day and age. I always say Poduty. Because it's fun to say Poduty, Poduty.com. You can find all the information about all the things I talked about, the whole business model where there's no charge to the creators. We didn't even get into that, but check it out. Reach out to me. I answer all the emails there, or find me on LinkedIn, Jeff Revilla, Revilla, on LinkedIn.
That's awesome. Perfect, guys. So yeah, definitely be sure to check that out. Jeff, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Congratulations on all your success. And if I'm in the area, I'm gonna have to stop in, because that venue looks absolutely fantastic. So thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, don't just stop in. I already booked the night for you, so you'll do your show when you're there.
Hell yeah, perfect. I can't wait for it. Everybody buy tickets now to an event that we don't know when the date is. Just buy tickets and we'll give it back to you if it doesn't happen. So guys, we're going to take a short break. We will be right back. But until then, this is Franky and Jeff Revilla signing off. Cheers, man.
Later.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Corkin Entertainment Show. That was me and Jeff Revilla. Thank you, Jeff, for coming on. And guys, be sure to look up Poduty and I think it's terrific. Something really, if anybody here is listening in New Brunswick or whatever, we should get something like that going on here in New Brunswick. I know some could say, yeah, you could just use some of the venues that are already here, but having one just dedicated to podcasting, I think would be great. Or maybe just host more events, podcast related. But anyways, thank you, Jeff, for coming on. And as I said, be sure, guys, to check out Poduty. Fantastic stuff. So moving on to the solo segments today. The first one I want to talk about is one that it's funny. This is something that every time I hear reports about something about Pirates of the Caribbean 6, I'm always just kind of like, okay, cool. And then they say, no, it turns out we're just doing a reboot of it, and it's going to be Margot Robbie or whatever they're doing. So I don't know what the hell is going on with Pirates of the Caribbean. As far as I know, they're still making a sixth one, and that they are making another one that's quote on, I guess you could say a soft reboot that is different from Pirates 6, so it's two different films. But we have some updates on Pirates 6. And so, of course, Jerry Bruckheimer has confirmed, it's underway. This is an article from IGN. So Jerry Bruckheimer, who, of course, has been involved, with Disney for years, spoke with Screen Rant, and then IGN reported in this article that there will be, quote unquote, some previous Pirates of the Caribbean movie actors who will be back for the next installment, despite the movie still offering a new take on the franchise overall. No question, it's going to be a new take. That's one thing for sure. Because of course the whole Johnny Depp situation. I've at first I was like, okay, there's no way he's coming back. And then I reported it. I think it was back in the fall when Johnny Depp was doing. It was shown that he was still dressing up as Jack Sparrow to show up children's hospitals and stuff like that. So I said, okay, maybe that could mean that he is open to it. But I think leaning more so on the side of, I think it's just he's showing. He's just being there for the kids. He's showing up for the kids who are sick and stuff like that, who would love to see him. So I think that's more so what it's like. I don't think it necessarily means that we're going to see him back, but I think it could also imply that perhaps he softened his stance on not wanting to come back versus maybe we will see him back. But so that's another discussion there too. But Jerry Bruckheimer says when asked whether a new take meant an all new cast, Bruckheimer replied, "Well, not all new actors. We'll have some back. I'm not going to tell you which ones. You'll have to guess." So now I'm going to read what Orlando Bloom had to say. Of course, Orlando Bloom played Will Turner in the first three, skipped out on the fourth one, and then he did appear in the fifth one, as did Keira Knightley as Will and Elizabeth Swann. And there was the post-credit scene in Pirates of the Caribbean 5 showed perhaps Davy Jones is back. With Will looking under his bed, and it's hinting. You guys who have seen it know what I mean, and so it's suggesting that okay, perhaps we will in fact see Davy Jones come back in a Pirate 6, and then find out we're not getting a Pirate 6. Oh no, we are getting a Pirate 6. So it's kind of all over the place, this whole thing. But we heard from Orlando Bloom himself. And so, though as the years have passed, fans have since begun to doubt whether this teaser would ever be picked up on. So Bloom said, this is from a Game Rant, "Well, I don't know. I can't say anything at the moment because I really don't know, but there's definitely availability. I think they're trying to work out what it would look like. I personally think it'd be great to get the band back together. That would be great, but there are always different ideas, and so we'll see where it lands." So from what it sounds like right there, Orlando Bloom is basically, yeah, I'm in. Like, whatever they want me for, I'm in. Now, combining that with what Jerry Bruckheimer said, I think it means, like, okay, if we get it, we'll see Will. I haven't heard anything from Keira Knightley. I know she's talked in the past about how she seems kind of done with Pirates of the Caribbean. Of course, she did the cameo in Pirates 5, and that kind of wrapped up her story. So maybe we won't see her. I mean, it's hard to say. Maybe we'll see her again. I mean, like, you can't really do the big happy ending in Pirates 5 and then go, oh, yeah, she just died, or she just went off. We got divorced, or something like that. So I think if I had to guess, what's going to happen is when they say it's going to be an all-new cast, or somewhat of an all-new cast with some old cast members, of course, I don't think Johnny Depp's going to be back. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to see him back, but I don't think it's going to happen at this point. So I think this is just what I'm going to predict here, is Pirates 6 will be somewhat similar to Pirates 4 in the sense of, okay, it's kind of a soft reboot in a little bit. We have, of course, Jack, Gibbs, and Barbossa at the forefront, who, of course, are returning from the original trilogy. But then we're going to bring in all these new characters, Ian McShane, Penelope Cruz, what's his face, who played, why can't I remember his name? The guy who falls in love with the mermaid. They brought him in to basically replace Will and Elizabeth, so it would still have a love story. It was kind of iffy on if it worked or not. It wasn't really, it is what it is. So I think that's what Pirates 6 will be, in the sense of it's going to be the same thing, except it's Will and Elizabeth, Henry, and why can't I think of her name? Barbossa's daughter, who Henry falls in love with. Well, I can't remember her name. Karina, I think, yeah. So that's what I think it'll be, and then it'll be a new cast, and then hopefully we can get Bill Nighy back. I think Bill Nighy has said that he actually had no idea about the post-credits scene until someone told him, like, oh my God, are you coming back? He's just like, I don't know, I think so, or I don't think so, and basically said, yeah, I would come back if they called me, which would be awesome to see him back again. So yeah, I think this is great. The fact that Orlando Bloom, I think you at least have to get Orlando Bloom back. Is it going to survive without Johnny Depp? I mean, who knows? Maybe he will come back, and I could be completely wrong, but I just don't think it's going to happen. He's made it pretty public that, of course, the Amber Heard situation, Disney cut ties with them immediately without an investigation, and he was hurt by that, which understandably so. And so he kind of publicly said he's done. Even if they offer him X amount of dollars, he's still not going to come back. So I think, yeah, if it were up to me, I'd say just leave it at 5. But since these are the cards we're dealt, we're going to get a 6th one. They're working on it. Orlando Bloom has said he's coming back, to me, I took that as he's coming back. So we'll have to see what happens from there. But right now, I'm actually kind of excited. I am kind of excited. I'll be honest with you, to see how this all turns out and what the future holds for Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it could be really interesting if done right. And so we'll see. So anyways, be sure to let me know your thoughts. Is Pirates 6 a good idea? Is it good that Orlando Bloom, is he coming back? Like, did you guys take that as he is coming back? I took it as, yeah, I think he's going to come back. Is Keira Knightley going to come back? Is Johnny Depp going to come back? For me, it's, I wish, if you can't get Johnny Depp back, then I think it'd be great to get Jeffrey Rush back. But I don't think that's going to happen. But anyways, we'll see how it all goes out. Be sure to let me know your thoughts. And so moving on to our last discussion topic today. I had something else that I was going to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it next week instead, because breaking news, this just came out, and I had to talk about it, which is, of course, Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is the 4th Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, which is coming out next summer. If I remember correctly, Tom Holland said they're supposed to start filming this summer, so filming should begin soon, I'd say. So very exciting. I mean, obviously, I think they're getting close to filming because they're making all these casting announcements. And so the first big one that has come out is Jon Bernthal is coming to join Spider-Man Brand New Day as the Punisher. Wow, this is good. This is one I kind of expected we were going to get something with Daredevil, because I'm hoping, now this is what I'm hoping for, and this is what the rumors are, is that it's going to be a more street level type Spider-Man film, and I hope that's what they're going for. And this is perfect. So Jon Bernthal, this is the Hollywood Reporter, is reporting this. I'll be honest. So I saw it on Twitter, and the first thing I said was, "Oh, yeah," and then I was just looking to see who was reporting it and call BS on it. Next thing you know, I see this Hollywood Reporter. I said, okay, it's got to be true. It's Hollywood Reporter if they're saying this. So Jon Bernthal has appeared in several Marvel television series as the Stone Cold vigilante known as the Punisher, even headlining his own series. Now he's taking his guns to the big screen. Bernthal has joined Tom Holland in Spider-Man Brand New Day, the latest Spider-Man movie from Sony and Marvel. Destin Daniel Cretton, I think that's how you say it, is directing the feature, which will shoot in England this summer and has a July 31st, 2026 release date. That's a great early or late birthday present for me. I can't wait. July 29th is my birthday. So much of the movie remains shrouded in mystery. Movie rumor websites have listed upwards of a dozen possible villains, from crime bosses to alien symbiotes who could appear in the feature, as well as a couple different versions of the Hulk. Yeah, that was a rumor that we were going to get Mark Ruffalo in as Hulk. As far as I know, that's been debunked. I don't think we're getting Mark Ruffalo in this movie. At least that's what... From what I can tell, maybe we are, maybe we aren't, but that's just, I don't see any reputable sources saying that. They're all just rumors at this point. The only thing clear at this stage is that Zendaya and Jacob Batalon are reprising their roles as MJ and best friend Ned, although how substantial those roles will be remains unclear. Now, I've said before, and I'll say it again, I still stand by it. I don't really want Zendaya and Jacob Batalon to come back. Not that I don't like them, but it's I just thought that whole ending of No Way Home was so perfect. I think it would be nice if we kind of move past it, just so that way we don't undo the terrific ending that No Way Home had. But anyways, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just pop in there once and then, So, because of course it says the story takes place after the events of the previous movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, in which the entire world knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man and then had that knowledge erased. So I just think it would make No Way Home more impactful if they just didn't bring Zendaya and Jacob Batalon back. Or if they did, which from what it says they're going to, is that... I just hope it's like we see them here and there, but just nothing comes of it. They don't reconcile or anything like that. That's what I'm hoping for, but we'll see how that goes. Stranger Things star Sadie Sink is the new big addition so far, and we don't know who she's playing, if she's going to play Gwen Stacy or whatever, but I'm excited to see what she is going to be in either way. Having Bernthal as the Punisher seems, and it puts it in italics, seems to point to a slightly more grounded angle on the story, as the character hails from the gritty street corner of Marvel's universe and, in the comics at least, uses fists, knives, and guns to tussle with bad guys rather than spells or fancy tech. But hey, having him square off against the rampaging Hulk could be fun too. Bernthal first showed up as vigilante Frank Castle, aka The Punisher, in Marvel's Daredevil Netflix series, then starred in his own series that ran for 2 seasons. He recently returned for a few episodes in Daredevil Born Again on Disney+. I still got to watch The Punisher show. I'll be honest, I haven't seen The Punisher show. Daredevil I've seen, but I haven't seen The Punisher, so I'm going to have to definitely watch them now. Not that I had no interest. I mean, like, it was just one of those things I was just like, I didn't feel... I was like, maybe I'll check it out someday. But now definitely, because I'm excited for a brand new day, I'm going to have to check out The Punisher. Absolutely. So Marvel is betting on more Punisher and Bernthal in the months and years to come. The character is set to return for season 2 of Born Again, and Marvel is bringing Bernthal back for a Punisher standalone feature for Disney+. Bernthal is co-writing the latter. So awesome. Like, this is actually so fantastic. So Jon Bernthal is, people always see Jon Bernthal and they see the Punisher nowadays. I still see him as Shane from Walking Dead. Took a character from the comic books that was not very memorable. I mean, he had his moments, and the TV show turned him into a character that it was when you're watching season 2 and he's killed off, you're kind of wondering how are they going to continue without him. Just it's absolutely fantastic work with it. He even came back a couple times here and there, like for Andrew Lincoln's final episode, Rick's last episode of the original show, came back as a hallucination, which was great. And Jon Bernthal's good too. What was Wolf of Wall Street? I thought he was good in Wolf of Wall Street. He's really funny in that. And what else? He's just been in lots. He's going to be in The Accountant too. Jon Bernthal's just living life. Fury. He's great in Fury as well too. Brad Pitt movie. Yeah, I think this is a win. This is a 100% win, and I'm super stoked that, first off, that we're still getting Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. Whether we see him for many more movies after that, because I know Tom Holland's kind of slowing. He actually is slowing down a little bit, and it's fun. It's kind of weird to say that because he's not even like he's not even 30, you know. But so I think he's kind of taking a more of an interest in, once he has kids, to retire from acting or put it aside for now, and he's just gonna be like a stay-at-home dad basically. So we'll see how it goes. So we'll enjoy it while it's here. And I think Jon Bernthal as the Punisher is an excellent addition, and I'm excited. I think this is a win. And keeping this more grounded, I think this is the way to go for Spider-Man Brand New Day. There's no more Iron Boy. There's no more, I don't want to see, because there were rumors that I mentioned the Mark Ruffalo reports that we were going to see Mark Ruffalo in this as Hulk, as the mentor figure. To me, I'm just like, dude, we don't need Spider-Man doesn't need any more mentors. He doesn't, because of course we had Doctor Strange, we had Nick Fury, we had Iron Man. It was just felt like he was always in the shadows of these bigger heroes. And I'm just like, it's Spider-Man. Just let him be Spider-Man. He doesn't need to have a mentor, guardian, role model to look, to me, I'm just like, just let him be Spider-Man. Let him do his thing. So let's hope that this is what we're getting. And yeah, fingers crossed. I think it's going to be great. So definitely be sure to let me know your thoughts. Is this a good thing, a bad thing? Jump in the comments, wherever it is, social media, and let me know your thoughts on that. So we're going to call it for the show today, guys. I want to thank my guest, Jeff Revilla, for coming on. Thank you very much, Jeff. Be sure to check out Poduty online, guys. And thank you, guys, for listening to the show, making us a part of your day. If you like the episode, leave us a nice little rating, review, whatever it is. Follow us on Facebook, all that good stuff. And so until the next episode, we'll see you next time. But until then, I fucked that up. Sorry. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. I'm all mixed up now. Okay, I'm just going to say it. Until next time, guys, this is Franky signing off. I don't know why I got messed up there. Cheers, everybody. Must be this heat is getting to me. All right. Have a good one, guys.